Hey guys, how's it going? I hope that you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to this episode of the Film Life Vlog. So yeah, I did an episode about the 5 common mistakes that beginners make when they're getting into film photography. And today I actually wanted to do a little follow-up video because one of the points that I raised was the fact that one mistake that beginners make is not developing film on their own. And in that video I also showed how I have been able to develop this much rows of film with just one box of kit, as you see right here. And I figured that I'll do a series of videos to show how I have been able to develop film on the cheap. I've been able to develop over 60 rolls of film with just one kit. So I've been trying to stretch this as far as I could. I mean, it's not recommended to use one box of this kit for so long. I think the recommended was 6 months maximum, something like that. But I was able to use it for over a year and I didn't have a lot of problems until lately. So how can you tell when your chemicals are actually all used up and you need to develop new chemicals? Lately I noticed that within the same batch of film that I developed, some of the images after scanning, some of the images would turn out really good. Some of the images would look grainy, almost like I shot them on expired film. Some of them would look almost like cross-processed or with some color shifts, and they almost look a bit almost psychedelic in a sense. And then I realized that, oh, really, I think I've taken this too far. So I decided that I need to mix new chemicals, fresh chemicals, to develop my film. So hence the motivation for this video. Yeah, so I'm excited and I'm ready to do this. So let's get going. So just starting off with the box, you'll notice that the labeling on the box, I'm just gonna display this for a little bit so you see what's exactly in the box. So to mix my chemicals, I'm going to use distilled water that I purchased from the store, basically from our water fountain here. So as you can see right there, it talks about using water well above the temperature that you want to use to develop your film. So what I'm going to do is actually fetch my water from our water fountain, and I'm using distilled water from our water fountain because I don't want any of the chemicals in the water, like the chlorine or other chemicals in the tap water messing with my chemicals here. It could actually affect the life of the chemicals. So I'm gonna use water from our fountain. I'm gonna heat it up, and then I'll proceed and mix up the chemicals. These are all the tools that you need to mix your chemicals. And as you can see, it's nothing high tech. I have a couple measuring containers here. I actually use these for measuring water, to fetch water, and I use that one here to mix up the actual chemicals. Right? You can purchase this from Walmart or even from the dollar store. They're nothing fancy, right? And you may need a thermometer to check the temperature of the water, right? You need a couple funnels, which I have here from the dollar store. Nothing fancy. And water bottles. I used Aquafina 1 liter water bottles, and they worked extremely well. So nothing high-tech. I know that there are those specialized bottles you can get online. You don't really need those. Just get one of just buy some water and use the bottles. And you also need a cooking pot, basically to heat up your water. The chemicals do not come into contact with this pot, so there's nothing to worry about. Oh, and you will need a stirrer as well. I got this from I think from Walmart or the dollar store, I'm not sure, but you can pick one of these up for about $1 or so. Nothing fancy. It's better to get the one with the rubber end here because it's softer, there's less abrasion as you're mixing your chemicals. I think this is useful to have that rubber tip. And I'm pretty sure depending on where you live, you will have access to these refillable bottles here. It's good for the family, and it's also good for developing film. When I refill these, I specifically choose the option of not having any minerals included in the water, so it's practically distilled water with no a significant amount of chemicals in there. I find that to work really well because those chemicals in the water, like in tap water, can actually react with your chemicals and will shorten the lifespan. So this is crucial that you use water like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fetch some water from the fountain and heat it up. I'm gonna use my big measuring container to fetch about just over 1 liter of water. I know that some would evaporate, so I just got it over the 1 liter mark over there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and heat this up. Now the recommended temperature for the developer is 43.5 degrees Celsius or 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna place my thermometer in this and just wait until the temperature is up to that point, and then I'm gonna use that water. So this would be for my developer, and as I'm developing, as I'm mixing my developer, I will be actually warming up the water, the next batch of water for my blicks as well, and then for the stabilizer. I'm not going to do it all in one go. I didn't want to fill up this pot up to the top because number one, it takes longer. Number two, I want to reduce the incidence of injury or any dangers as a result of any spilling hot water when it's too full. I want to be accurate, and as I'm mixing, I'll be warming up the next batch, so I find it's more efficient that way. And it doesn't take too long to get the temperature up to above the optimal temperature, which is now currently almost at 50. So I think this is ideal now, and I'm going to stop it now. I'm going to take this off the stove, and I'm going to go ahead and start mixing. So I'm going to fill this up right up to the 1 liter mark right there. So let's do that. As you pour this in, you try not to breathe any of the dust that will come out of this in. You don't really want to breathe that stuff in, so be safe. And you just mix it up. see that it's almost fully dissolved. So really, this isn't a difficult thing to do. It's just really mixing up a chemical. And right now I'm about 3 feet away from this. In person, as I'm mixing this, my head is about 3 feet away, just because. Okay. So it's fully dissolved now. I have my developer bottle. Place the funnel on top. I'm just gonna hold it while I pour this. I don't want any accidents. And as you can see, this just comes up right up to the 1 liter. I'm just gonna cap it. And I'm gonna store this until I need it. Cap it properly. And I'm just gonna go and wash this up right away. So my developer is already done. And I just poured out the warm water, 1 liter of warm water for the Blix solution now. So time to mix up the Blix. So I just poured the Blix A in. The Blix A dissolves quite easily. Already I'm starting to smell the Blix chemical. It has a very particular smell. Don't breathe this stuff in, okay? So I'm gonna mix up the Blix B. Oh, look at that. Whoa. See the reaction there? Try not to breathe the vapor if you can help it. Keep mixing it up. So that's the dark color from the Blix. Stir it a bit more. Make sure it's well dissolved. Okay. Take this out. So I have my bottle for the Blix and the funnel. And I'm just gonna carefully pour this in. Be very careful with this, you don't want any spills. So as you can see, the stabilizer comes in a different package, and you can actually add it to water at room temperature. But since I took this from our fountain, I actually had to warm it up a bit to bring it up to room temperature. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add the contents of this package right into it. Gently stir. It looks like it's fully dissolved. As always, I have my bottle, and I'm gonna gently pour this in. Stabilizer all done, blicks all done, and developer all done. Time to dispose of the packages. And time to clean up. Hey guys, so welcome back. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of a vlog. So I have my developer and my blicks and my stabilizer all mixed up. It wasn't actually difficult at all. You would find that you'll be able to do this regardless of your setting. It's not a lot of work. It takes a maximum of 15 minutes if you do it. If you follow the steps, it's not complicated at all. So I'm hoping that as I'm breaking this up into these simple steps, that you will find developing not to be such a big deal. So I hope you guys learned something. Those of you that do not know how to develop your own film, this is really how to mix up your chemicals. In the next video, I will be showing you how to actually develop film and how to get your area all set up. I've been using very simple methods, nothing complicated, just a thermometer and basically a little container that I use to regulate the temperature. So this is for color photography. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to click the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, there's a lot of stuff coming up on this channel. Please do click the subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And as always guys, I hope that you guys have a wonderful day and stay safe.